You and I have been hoodwinked and bamboozled by a persuasive little storyteller that lives in the depths of our psyche, that knows all the tricks to trick us, and that is our ego. It's created a lie about our lives that's so compelling that we accept and believe it without question. This one lie holds us back and robs our potential. Today, you're gonna learn a deeper understanding of your ego, the big lie we're unaware of, and how to stop being deceived by your ego so you can get out the rut and start making a change. My name is Nathan Cook, and I'm here to help you live a conscious life. Before we get started, I do want to make it clear that our ego is necessary and will always have a seat in our mind, but too many of us unconsciously allow it to sit on our throne, which you'll understand later on. But first, we must understand the true nature of the ego, because there's a common misconception that the ego is all about
bolstering itself up.
And while this is partially true, the ego's sole purpose is to be acknowledged, recognized, and identified by any means necessary, whether it's through external validation or internal self-talk. Our ego is always on the hunt to feed the I and the me. This happens even when the person's playing the role of the victim, because it's all about
poor old little me. I've been making videos for YouTube for 11 months now, and I only have 629 subscribers. The YouTube algorithm doesn't like
me. Our ego will find a way to feed itself, whether it feels superior or inferior, because its biggest fear is obscurity and irrelevance. So we judge, believing our way is better. We compare to showcase what others lack. We believe we're right and they're wrong. We even complain so we could be the center of attention. The ego is cunning, so much so we get sucked into its script of spinning lies and tales for its need to feed. And this feast is at the cost of our ignorance. So now that you understand the ego's primary purpose, which is recognition, attention, and validation, I'm going to reveal the big lie we've been falling for. And what I'm going to share with you initially is going to sound crazy as all get out, but I ask for your patience. I'll provide a detailed explanation and a visual aid that will change your self-perception, that will stick with you for a lifetime. So the greatest deception of our ego is our belief in our self-identity. The person who you think you are is a complete illusion. Hear me out. Since childhood, our ego has been carefully constructing an identity based on our beliefs, memories, and experiences. We all have our favorite color, pet peeves, insecurities, fears, likes, and dislikes. All of these elements from our past have compounded over time and created a structure, an identity that you call I. And who you think you are is based on a collection of outdated scripts. And we believe we're this past version of ourselves, which keeps us bound to a static identity, living in a repetitive cycle that feels safe but limiting. Are you following me here? If not, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to give the visual aid in a minute, but this is the reason why change is so hard. It's not that we don't want change, but we're allowing ghostly imprints of our past to influence our present consciousness. We're more focused on who we were than who we can be. And it's not your fault. The ego clings to the past because it's the storehouse that reinforces its worth, shame, and identity. It doesn't care if you make change or not, as long as it's being fed. Have you realized all the stories you hear in your mind is centered around one character, you? I'm about to give the visual aid to prove that you are not who you think you are. So make sure you're looking at your screen, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You are now looking at an outdated version of me. This is who I was, not who I am. We are defining ourselves on a past that no longer exists. The only reality, the only truth is that we can only be who we are now. It's time for us to retire this belief that
we are the sum of all the things that have happened to us,
and adopt a conscious belief, and that is, we are the sum of this present moment. Every moment of our lives, we are living and dying, living and dying. And our entire life is happening in these quick frames, flickering from past to now. Once you embrace this, embody it, you're liberated, free, knowing that every heartbeat doesn't represent life, but a new life, because now is new. At this very moment, you are the oldest you have ever been, and you are the youngest you will ever be. Your entire life is happening in between these two moments. anything that happens outside of these 2 moments is an illusion. You had fear, you had insecurities, you had regrets, you were hurt. None of that stuff exists right now, and it's never going to exist again. Only as a mirage in your mind. I held on to this fear of starting this YouTube channel because I was worried about public failure. I was basing my present life on a past thought, a common trap we fall into. So let me ask you, what stories are you holding on to, preventing you from embracing change? These are the stories you hear playing in your mind all the time, nourished and complimentary of the ego. So how do we dethrone this joker called the ego? It starts with raising our self-awareness. I recommend meditating for at least 20 minutes every day. And the goal of meditation is not to quiet the mind, it's to observe the mind. The first step to change is awareness. Give yourself a chance to observe the stories your ego is feeding you versus just reacting to them. Just as you're observing me formulating thoughts and opinions, do the same on the screen of your mind and take your throne back by being consciously aware why you think what you think. Remember this, now means new. You are as new in this moment as a newborn baby. E-G-O, ego. Drop the E and let's go.